Welcome. We have a special episode of the Kawarthas Small Business Podcast today. You have just me, Brian Rump, and I am speaking with a group of Fleming College students. And we are going to talk about the hidden opportunity for local small business owners, and that is a whole bunch of international students studying at Fleming who are ready, willing, and able to work with your business. So welcome. I have with me Kareena and Kamal. So we'll hear from the students. So who would like to go first?
I can go first.
All right, Kamal. So please tell us a bit about yourself and what brought you here.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Kamalpreet Kaur, and I'm a student of Global Business Management at Fleming College. And I came to Canada in 2019. I have always been a very technology person, and I have also like a little bit of experience with the marketing. So I wanted to pursue those two things combined in my future endeavors. So that's why I came to Canada and I joined Global Business Management. I mean, in my last semester, so pretty exciting.
Oh, that's great. Awesome. And Kareena, tell us about you.
Sure. Hi, I am Kareena Narsinghani. I'm a postgraduate student with Global Business Management in Fleming College, and I have acquired business degree back in India. So that is what brought me here to Canada, the urge and the need to study more about diversified global and international business cultures. And I'm really excited to be here.
Oh, that's great. I'm excited to have you. This has been a fun project to put together. So some of our listeners know that one of the things that I do is I teach at Fleming College as a contract faculty, and I'm in my fourth year now doing that. And most of my classes have been teaching in our post-grad programs, which is global business management, project management, international business management, and probably 90% of the students that I've taught are international students. And I've met a lot of great students who are here. For listeners, our post grad programs mean that students come already having a degree. We have lots of students who have business degrees, they have MBAs, they have different other training as well. I've had lots of engineers, some lawyers. I know some of my colleagues have taught some doctors and surgeons and lots of different skills of people coming. And it's really exciting to me. But tell us a little bit about what usually happens to students after graduation. Where do they typically go to look for work?
So normally when students are done with their studies, the next step for them is to get their work permit, because there's like when they come to Canada, they come with like a certain time, they get a study permit which is valid for a certain time period. So once they are done graduating, the next step for them is to get a work permit. And when we talk about work permit, so they're basically most of the students, the international students, their end goal is to get a PR. And so they
What's
need
PR stand for?
a permanent residence.
Permanent residency. It's
Yes.
interesting because this is part of the language I hear. And when I first started teaching, everyone talks about wanting to get their PR. And I think locally, and myself, I don't really even know what that means, what the rules are. So students want, you're allowed to come on a student visa. You could do some work while you're a student. But as soon as you graduate, that ends, and you have to get permission to work on a temporary work permit. But the goal with that is to get permanent residency so that you can stay in Canada permanently. So you have to follow some rules and have a certain type of job, right?
Yes. There's like a whole full-fledged website, Canadian IRCC website, and they have some requirements that the students have to fulfill before they apply for permanent residence. And one of the part is the work permit that they need to get. And when we talk about like work permit, so it actually there are some job requirements that the student has to fulfill. For example, if we talk about like us, so we are global business management students, so we need to find a job which will be a NOC A, B, and C. And NOC basically stands for non classification opportunities. And what happens in that is that there's like 5 levels actually, like NOC O, A, B. And NOC OAB has different categories. They divided the jobs in different categories, and each category has like a points. So if you talk about NOC C or D, they don't have any points when they apply for permanent residency, but NOC O, A, and B will give you like 50 points. So you have to get jobs in one of those categories to be able to get those points, which will help you get a permanent residence.
Yeah, so this it sounds very complicated. What I've looked at though is for global business management students, you're kind of lucky in that a lot of jobs count for you. So you can get into different jobs. Entry level jobs are okay. Entry level with some supervisory or management components. Being in charge of something, I think really counts. So I think for a lot of small businesses locally, they might think, oh, students, or people who want a PR can't come here because the job I'm offering isn't good enough. But when you really look at the rules and the charts, for the most part, those jobs are good enough.
Yeah, that's actually correct. I would like to address those things because we have been seeing that most of the local business owners they do not know what are the requirements that students need for permanent residency. So as you were saying that the supervisory job or the administratory job, they actually come in the NOC B criteria, that is National Occupation Classification. So the supervisor, administrator, supervisor, those jobs come in NOC B actually. So those gives the students an opportunity to score like 50 to 100 points while they apply for permanent residence application.
Yeah, which is great. So some of the other things that we're looking for, there's a minimum hours required, correct? And
Yes.
how many hours is that?
So for before applying permanent residence, a student should have completed 1,560 hours in a year. So that averagely brings around 33 to 35 hours a week.
Yeah, so we're again making sure that you're getting close to full-time opportunities. So this is another barrier where if it's 1 or 2 shifts per week, it's not really enough. So it's interesting because with small businesses, sometimes people say, oh, it's hard to find people who want to work full-time. It's easier for them to find part-time workers. So this is an opportunity as well. People who are eager to show up every day, and they're going to make sure that they're there because they need to be so that they can stay in Canada.
That is actually true. So we actually had when we were working on this project, we had the opportunity to talk to some of the alumni, and they also mentioned that it is difficult to get those hours. So which kind of like not helps them towards the permanent residency application, and because of COVID actually as well, that also like impacted that, because most of the businesses are not active or they're running on like less time hours. So that is definitely there, but so most of the students, what they do is like they work on like 1 or 2 jobs to get fulfill those hours. So that is definitely there. Yes.
Yeah, so it becomes an opportunity.
Yeah.
Get somebody who has a high level of education. I really like the programs that we teach in. We have I think some great faculty who really helps sort of transition the students to being able to work in Canada and really understand the local Peterborough Kawarthas environment, um, and also bring a global perspective as well. One of the things when we talk about small businesses, sometimes people forget about the global aspect. But one of the things I talk about a lot, and I've worked with a lot of companies in Peterborough and Kawarthas who are doing business globally. So sometimes it's great to have a perspective of somebody who knows the different markets, and has maybe traveled more, lived in different places. So another great opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, one other thing I wanted to make sure to talk about is if you are an employer, there are a few rules to be eligible for students. So there is requirement that employers' gross revenue in the GTA needs to be 1 million or above, and outside of the GTA, it's 500,000. So a lot of small businesses would meet that, but it can be a barrier because there are certain types of businesses that don't meet that. For example, I have a small business. I do not meet that threshold because I do different things, and that my revenue is not that high, which is unfortunate because I would like to hire some students for projects sometimes, but that is a barrier. Um, that's being changed. You have to be a registered business in Ontario, so you can't just be a private person hiring somebody and paying them cash to do some work. So we want to make sure that it's good. But if you're a small business and you're above that $500,000 threshold and you're registered, I think it's a great opportunity to try to get to know some international students who are here. It's also a great opportunity to try them out part time while they're doing their studies as well, I think. So that's really covering that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is just understanding the opportunities that are in Peterborough and the Kawarthas. I think the general impression is for a lot of students is that once you graduate, you have to leave and go to the GTA or another city to find work. What do you think about that saying? What did you find there?
So that is the case actually. So normally students have this perception in their head that there are not enough job opportunities, especially the jobs which helps them applicable for the permanent residence. So they have this belief that there are not enough opportunities, and they think that the GTA or the other bigger cities, they have more opportunities. So that's why they end up leaving. And I think we can also relate to that because we have been living in the city for 2 years and we did not know about that there are so many businesses in Peterborough. And through this project, we got to know about it and we were like, wait, what? There are like so many. And yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So if like all these students know, like there are so many job opportunities that exist in Peterborough, I don't think so they'll leave because they love this city. This city has definitely left an impression. When we talk to like students, they said that they don't want to leave this city, but it's just that they think there are not enough job opportunities. So yeah, it's just about like getting to know that there are job opportunities, and once they know about it, I think the problem will be resolved. Yes.
oh, that's great. Uh, what did you think about coming to Peterborough? Do you think students were excited to come to Peterborough to start?
Well, whoever, like we conducted a survey, and in that survey, we surveyed 110 students, and we did ask them like, what do you think about Peterborough? Are you comfortable living in Peterborough? And how is everything in Peterborough? Like the housing, the transit, the atmosphere, the community, and like majority of the students said they love it. So they actually love this place because it has that, there are so many trials and everything, and most of the students come from bigger cities, so they kind of like want this peace that Peterborough offers. They like this place basically. It's a beautiful place to live in. So from the survey, was like we got the result that everybody wants to stay. They love this city. It's just about the jobs. Yeah.
Which is really great to hear. Kareena, maybe I'll ask you, before you came to Fleming College, when you first heard about Peterborough, were you excited to come here or maybe not so much?
I was certainly really excited because when I heard that I got into Fleming College, I literally went into Google and search everything about Peterborough City, the local businesses and the atmosphere and the good places to go to and everything. So I was really excited to be here because I come from a city which is kind of like Peterborough, but not like really. It's not as similar as Peterborough, but it's calm and it's green, just like Peterborough. So I was really excited to be coming in Peterborough.
Oh, that's really good. I know sometimes I hear people are not excited to come to Peterborough. They would rather be in Toronto, and then when they come here, they really like it, which I think is, a lot of businesses talk about attracting people and attracting specifically young people to come live and work in Peterborough and the Kawarthas. And sometimes the impression is that it's too small of a town and it's not as nice, but almost every student I meet, changes their mind. They come here, they really like it. It's a better city than maybe they thought it was, and really enjoy it. So I think it's like I find it really sad when we see so many students who leave Peterborough to find jobs, and then in my other roles and work, I hear so many business owners who are saying, they can't find people to work for them, or sometimes they get young people, but they're just here until they can leave and go to the city. And I just think it's such a great opportunity when we have, people who are skilled and they, really want to be here and they want to build a life in Peterborough. So we want to try to connect them. So how do you think, do you have any ideas on how we can connect business owners and students?
Um,
Um, so there are a few things that we can do. The one thing, again, when we talk to like the alumni, the one thing that they mentioned, like why they go to GTA, was that employers in there, they know about like the requirements for permanent residence. So like whenever they like post a job on Indeed or any other platform, maybe LinkedIn or any other platform, they sometimes do mention at the top like this is a B level job. So that is something which like right away attracts students' attention when they just look at it, right? So I think maybe just letting employers know that these are the permanent residency requirements, which can help them understand the process, and they can use those requirements to kind of like include in their job postings, which will make those job posting interesting to students. And that way, I think to begin with, we will be able to bridge like a certain gap between the employers and the students. The other thing that we can do is um, is the so we have like a Trent University and we have Fleming College, and we do have like career services in both of the Fleming College and the Trent University. So we can maybe just reach out to them, and we do have like a workforce development board in Peterborough, and we also have VCCS, Victoria County Career Services. So they have these full-fledged website which has jobs. They update that job postings each day, and there are like 500 to 600 jobs. So if they can just come in contact with each other and just share that information with students, that would be another great start to bridge that gap between the employers and the students.
Yeah, and I would like to add that maybe since everything is virtual now, we cannot do much. But if everything goes back to normal, maybe we can host some events like meet and greets or meetings where potential employers and students can meet together, have dinners, or get together to know each other, where students can and expand their networking circle, and they can know more that there are certain local employers who are looking for a job. And on the other hand, the employers can also see that there's a pool of such graduated international students who are ready to work. So maybe that can also help to bridge the gap and make a connection between them.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, and it's being able to create those relationships. It's really hard to do on paper sometimes, and I find how you apply for a job in, for example, India is very different than in Canada. The way we look at credentials and experience is different. I've met lots of students who have fascinating experiences, and then they don't put it on their resume because they don't think it's valuable. But sometimes to employers here, that's exactly what they're looking for. A couple examples of some students I've had have grown up in family businesses where there's a lot of similar businesses here that they probably know it really well, but it's hard to communicate that on paper sometimes. So I've seen just lots of great experiences, and those will really only come up sometimes in conversation or when you get to know them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that.
actually, yeah.
So,
So,
go
from
ahead.
our conversations, we also found out that some employers, they think the students, the experience that students carry from back India. Some of the employers do not think that they would help here. So, the problem is students do not tend to put those experience in their resumes, or they do not put those experience while applying for the application. They think that those experience would not be counted here. So, and they miss out the great opportunities because of that. So that's
Yeah, I
yes.
think so. It's interesting. India and Canada, both have some British colonial roots, so there's a lot of similarities in how we do certain things.
Yeah.
There's some different cultural aspects, but it's very similar. And I think too, people in Peterborough forget a lot of students come from places where there's a lot more people, and the people there still do things like shop, and they get services, and there's a lot of businesses. So there is a lot of skills that translate, and sometimes you need some training, like any new employee, to adapt to how you do things in your business. But overall, I think people would be just surprised at how good most of the students would be. All right. So tell me, just so we give credit, who else was on your team for this project?
Okay, so we were a team of 6 people. Besides me and Kareena, we had another 4 people, and the one was Joel, John, George. The other was Jaideep Singh, Ashiq, Nazeer, and Steve Felix.
Oh,
Yeah, so we were actually 3 at the beginning in the last semester when we started this project, but then they combined our 2 teams, and it was a great mix of talent on our team.
sure.
Yeah, so we had people like who were like so good with Microsoft Excel. There were people who were so good with graphics and um, designing, and which kind of like when we talk about like the whole project, everything like fell into place. Like we were like a perfect mixture of people who was good for this project to get like a great result out of this.
Yeah, which is really nice to see. And who was your mentor on this project?
Oh, our mentor is Raymond Choy. And
Yeah, Raymond.
amazing. Yeah, he's superb. He's amazing. He's incredible.
Yeah, Raymond's well known in the Peterborough community, so we'll
Yeah.
make sure we give him a shout out.
Oh yeah.
Um, just a couple observations from me in terms of if we have listeners who are looking to hire some students, definitely reach out to me, and I can try to put you in contact or have a posting, and I'm happy to share it on LinkedIn. But one of the things that I really liked about your group is just how many meetings you were able to get. So you guys put in a lot of work, and you've met with people from Victoria County Career Services, several counselors in Peterborough, the Workforce Development Board, the Labor Council. I was telling the class in a meeting, I have somebody I served in the Army with who's involved in the Labor Council, and sent me a message one night because he heard my name during a presentation. So I think those are just great skills in terms of if people on here are looking for people who can open doors, can do presentations, can do some sales. There's some great students on this podcast with me who would help that out. Um, so before we wrap it up here, maybe give a quick pitch for yourselves. What maybe types of opportunities or would you be looking for, and what types of skills do you want to develop working in Peterborough and the Kawarthas?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, like I have done engineering back in India. So I have done bachelor's of engineering in electronics and communication, and I have worked in an IT company afterwards as a business development executive. So basically, I'm again trying to like put together like technology and marketing. So any like a technology company or any company which is like combining these two things, I'm all for it. If they're pairing these two things, technology and marketing, I'm all for it. I just wanted to like enhance the existing sales practices in a business. So yeah, that's what I'm
Oh,
interested
I just learned something new. I knew that you have great writing and communication
in.
skills, but I didn't know about the technology part. So hopefully we can maybe connect you to some listeners here.
Ooh,
And Kareena, how about you?
I've been working as a sales advisor for past 1.5 year now, so I think I would give more opportunity to myself to grow my career into sales and marketing field, because I want to grow my skills in customer relationships management, and emotional intelligence, and a few skills where I can communicate well, just like communication skills. So maybe that can
Oh,
help me.
that's great. So we have a joke on this podcast that we almost turn every topic into marketing, and it sounds like we've done that. So we have two great talents here who might be interested in some marketing, communication, sales. So uh, if you're interested in that, reach out to me. So thank you both for being on the podcast with us today. We're almost at the end of our Kawartha commute here. So if any listeners have any follow-up questions, or you'd like to introduce yourselves or get in contact with some international students, please reach out. The email is setitup@kawarthasmallbusinesspodcast.ca.